Hey everyone, just a reminder that I'll be hosting a screening of Cyclops and Miracle Bunny 2 at the Guild Cinema in Albuquerque, New Mexico on August 9th. Check out the links in the episode description and follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky for ticketing and other information on this event. Enjoy the episode. Seen any Mission Impossible movies.
Have you seen any James Bond movies?
I've seen all of them up to Daniel Craig. I was a big Bond head as a child, but in between like the last Brosnan and Daniel Craig, I kind of became an adult and got grumpy and decided I hated everything, so I just haven't seen any of them.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say you picked the wrong movie franchise.
Yeah.
I think the Mission movies are, they're fun because it's a real guy doing crazy shit.
And that's the thing, is that I should watch them because that's my excuse that I tell people of like why I watched Fast and the Furious, but that has become less true with each one. Like it's less and less real stunts.
Yeah, this one still is like, there's some CG stuff, but then the real shit is insane. Like this newest one, and it's far from my favorite Final Reckoning one that just came out, but there was still sequences where I was like literally like leaning forward in the theater seat, kind of gripping the arms of the chair, being like, "Holy shit! Like this is intense." So they all are worth it. And that first one, it's Brian De Palma. It's still got just that slight layer of De Palma sleaze to it going on, you know? Even the second one is John Woo's weird psychosexual, like, cuckolding thing happening in there, too. Like, there's some stuff to grab onto for these.
Wow.
I feel like it didn't, like, as a franchise, it really didn't settle in until, like, part 4. That's where it kind of feels like it gains a voice of its own. Like, the first 3 are just, I like these directors, let's see what they can do with this property.
Oh, yeah, which is a fun energy on its own, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of the impression I got, because it's like, I never thought of them as like these big stunt event movies, but the last few ones, that's all anyone can talk about. I always like the first 3, I was like, oh, these are just kind of spy movies with Tom Cruise, who like I don't give a shit about, so.
Well, okay, that might be a problem then, because this last one, they really want you to buy him as, like, the Messiah. And I do. When you watch him do the shit he does, you're like, yeah, I'm all in. People were chanting Tom Cruise in my theater before the movie started. Some guy did yell out, like, yeah, Scientology, like, at the top of his lungs. So it's working. It's working on the general public.
Oh, did you see that little clip? It's like Tom Cruise at a screening. And for some reason, I thought this was the funniest thing I'd seen in a while. But it's like he comes in through a side door to give an intro for the movie. And the guy who's on like the very end of the row, Tom Cruise just looks at him and goes, "Oh, you finished all your popcorn before the movie started." And just gets on stage. It cracks me up so much.
There's a whole saga about him and popcorn going on right now. He apparently eats like 2 to 3 large buckets of popcorn for every movie he goes to. And like, if you're like with him and you have popcorn and he doesn't, he'll ask for some, you know, like he's a fiend, you know, he truly is like going for president of movies. That's right now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He just got into movies to subsidize his popcorn habit.
It's probably like the one food that he allows himself to like take enjoyment in.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a premiere. This is my cheat day.
Mm-hmm.
I never have like any sort of specific dislike of Tom Cruise. I just don't get it. And maybe that's because I haven't seen any Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah. I mean, I think you got to watch him to get into because watching that series has made me be like, this guy fucking rules. I mean,
yeah.
Fair enough. You seen anything good, Kron?
I've mostly just been watching stuff at the house and a lot of like animal attack films since we're covering this one.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I was telling you guys I did Grizzly. I rewatched Day of the Animal. So.
Oh, I got to see it.
Oh,
same director as Grizzly, right?
Yeah. Same director. I think it's the better of the two, personally, just because you get a lot of variety in what animal is attacking. So, but yeah, they're both a good time.
Yeah, I watched one, might have been back in October for my October challenge of 31 in 31. I couldn't remember because I saw one of those when I was a really young kid of like, it's all the animals attacking.
Mm-hmm.
I could never remember which one it was. Pretty sure it was not the one that I watched, Wild Beasts, because that was a fucking insane movie with lots of real animal cruelty in it.
Yeah, isn't the story, I mean, it's like they dump PCP into the river and the animals drink it or something. Isn't it?
It was some crazy shit like that. But see, that's what I remembered happening in the movie that I saw as a child. So I thought that might be it. But I'm like, no, there's no way I would have watched this as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe as a child, I would have just assumed that since it's in a movie, it all must be fake. But they set a lot of rats on fire. I'll say that.
Jesus. I don't think it can't really be classified as an animal attack movie, but a couple years ago, I got into like the Criterion Channel posted like a bunch of pre-code horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, Murders in the Zoo, is just kind of like a pretty fun like murder mystery thing. But at the end of it, well, it takes place in a zoo. And like the evil zookeeper guy, I think he is, does release all the animals at once. And they just captured footage of like, they just literally did that in the zoo. They have a bunch of like animals together. They just opened all the cages at once and let them out. And of course, like all the big cats started like mauling all the other animals. And they just have footage of that in this film. You just see like pumas like tackling other animals to the ground and like start to like wrestle around. It's absolutely insane. You know, it's way before they gave a shit about,
Mm-hmm.
you know, protecting animals on set or anything like that.
Yeah, it is crazy. One thing I will say about that movie, Wild Beasts, that's almost makes it worth everything else in it is just there's a scene of a cheetah just running through, I can't remember what city, I think it's Berlin, but just like an actual cheetah running through the actual streets of Berlin at night. It's like you would never see that today or any time for like the last 40 years. Fucking crazy. But with that, I guess we should probably just get into this movie, right?
I mean, let's do
Hell
it.
yeah. Let's do it, man.
Hell yeah.
You're talking about Remains, Yellow Fang, Beautiful Heroes?
Yeah. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to Dead Formats, a movie podcast about tracking down obscure films that have lost their scent in the rivers of time. I'm your host, Chris, and this episode we're going to be discussing Yellow Fangs from 1990. And today I'm joined by two very special guests. A couple beautiful heroes, if you will. Greg, Kron, welcome. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate having me on for this.
Hell yeah.
I've been pumped all week to talk about this thing, so
Fuck yeah.
I'm ready to go.
So Greg is one half of the weekly podcast Massacre. Kron is 1/3 of the 5-Day Rentals podcast. Both of them have been on the show recently to discuss The Two Jakes and Toyed, respectively. So if you want to hear more of them, go check out those episodes or just go check out their shows. It's all great stuff. I'm not going to make them do their whole spiel about what their shows are because if you really want to know, just go listen to them.
We talk about movies. I mean, what else is a podcast for?
Yeah, just real quick, like, they're the same premise for a show. I would say Greg's is like, if you are smart and you buy from the Criterion Collection, go for that. If you exclusively built your library from Walmart bargain bins, check out 5-Day Rentals.
There it is. But if you've listened to the episode where Greg and I, along with his co-host Murph, talked about The Two Jakes, you may remember that film was sort of one, or I had to come up with a pretty weak justification for it as a dead format. And this week, we've got kind of a similar thing going on. Actually, both The Two Jakes and Yellow Fangs both came out in 1990, so I think that's going to be the theme for all of your future appearances, Greg.
I'll take it.
1990 films that may or may not actually be dead formats.
I don't know if this is one of your dead formats, but the director of this only directed 2 things. I mean, he's a very famous person in his own right, but
True
not
that.
as a director.
Yeah, so this was directed by genre cinema legend Sonny Chiba, who passed away in 2021. So we can call this Sonny Chiba film a dead format because there will be no more Sonny Chiba films, sadly. But it is also an Animals Attack film, so I wanted to talk about that a little bit. You guys both seem to be big Animals Attack guys, which is why I asked you to cover this film with me. So what is your respective histories with this subgenre of horror?
It's not something that I have been like super into until semi-recently, but I really love them. I mean, like the big one is Jaws, which is an all-time favorite, but I love, I guess that's more my subgenre, is like the sort of Jaws ripoff, and not even just like shark movies, but those movies were clearly just following the formula of Jaws, of there is a crazed animal out there, and we have to have our team go out and get it. You know, it's usually that kind of like isolated sort of setting with this dangerous animal that may or may not be a giant version of that animal. So I do love that stuff. And even as they get more fantastical, like with like Alligator and, you know, like Placid, those sort of things. So my thing about them is that typically, especially if they're an older Animal Attack movie, you're going to get a great mix of real animal footage, probably animals in very dangerous situations, and some really cheesy fake animal shit like we have in this movie, which is just a delightful mix to see.
This may have ended up being the perfect movie for you.
Yeah. In that sense, it really delivered. Absolutely.
How about you, Kron?
Yeah. I mean, kind of similar, but I do think like when I first really took an interest in movies, I mean, I did have like a desire to watch horror stuff, but I was probably like 10 to 13, that range. So my parents weren't going to just be like, yeah, you can rent Halloween. But they were also kind of like, well, if you want to see like The Killer Shrews, some dumb 50s movie, like go for it. Yeah. So it was kind of like at least the first horror adjacent stuff I think I was allowed to view as a child, you know? So that kind of got the foot in the door. And then I mean, a lot of them kind of center around like some kind of ecological message that I think like it applied in the 50s and the 70s and it still applies now. So I think they are like sadly timeless in some ways, you know, like things are just getting worse on all those fronts. So I think that aspect of it is super interesting. And then there is just, since they've been doing them for so long, there's just a ton of creativity. Like one of the ones I really, really like is Phase 4. And I feel like nothing really looks like that movie to me. It's pretty unique. So I don't know. They're just like, they've been around for a long time. And I think a lot of cool people have like dabbled in the genre over the years. So it's like a deep well that you can just keep going back to and be like, well, I've never seen these 10, so let's knock one off the list.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and they still do get, I mean, that's the thing, as maybe just another dead format thing, they get made in some capacity, but now with things like, you know, animal rights and people caring about animal safety and things like that, it's all primarily CGI stuff now. Like Idris Elba did one a few years ago, a lion attack movie called Beast.
Saw it in theaters.
I really did. I wanted to see it, but just from the previews was also just kind of bummed by the CG aspect of it, you know, which is like, not that that makes me sound maybe sadistic, being like, well, there's no animals in danger on this film, I'm not interested, but like, I don't know, it does add a lot when they do have real animal footage in these films.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit on the Two Jakes episode where we discussed like, is noir as a genre a dead format? And I think it is also a discussion worth having when it comes to Animal Attack films. Obviously, like you said, they are still coming out. We had Cocaine Bear a couple years ago. So I wouldn't call it a dead genre, but I would say at the very least, it is a moribund genre. I also often look at lists of Letterboxd of like Animal Attack movies just to find ones that seem interesting or that I haven't seen. And anything that seems like cool or good invariably came out in the 70s or 80s. Like once Sharknado came out, you see a definite shift in what the Animals Attack genre has become, where they're all intentionally shitty and it can't just be about a bear. It's got to be about a bear on cocaine, or it can't just be about a shark. it's got to be about a mummy shark or some shit like that.
Yeah. I actually just talked, because we just covered Anaconda a couple weeks ago on my podcast, and I talk about this a lot on there, but I guess my entry point for this subgenre was through, I have an aunt that's very, very into like creature features, and not necessarily animal attack movies, but a lot of those do figure in. Like, she was a big fan of things like Anaconda, and then she eventually transferred that into a love of those kind of like, you know, sort of like sci-fi schlock animal attack films. So I did grow up watching a lot of those. Anytime I visited her, she had one on, you know, and so I guess that is sort of my origin point for those. And I kind of talk about, I think Tremors is the one that sort of kicks off that trend where, you know, the Tremors, there's a lot of practical effects, but that franchise just keeps going, goes very CG heavy. Those are big in the home video market. And so then like trickles out to things like the Anaconda franchise, which then becomes very, you know, all CG, just kind of, and then you got Mega Python versus, you know, Mega Gator, all that stuff. So that's the thing. It's like, the word you use, moribund, that's very, very acute, I think, for animal attack. It's completely a separate thing from like Grizzly or today's film, you know?
Yeah. I mean, when they were practical, I mean, even if there's some kind of trickery to get the shot to look the way they want, like, there is a feeling of like, this is a dangerous situation that the people and the animals both are in right now. I mean, it does a lot for the movie, just knowing that that's a real thing. I mean, I feel like the last one that I really enjoyed, like the most recent one, was probably Crawl. And I mean, I like that movie, but there's definitely stuff like, you know, Long Weekend or Grizzly or, you know, any of that kind of like 70s to 90s run that I think is a better movie. It's just, I don't know, maybe Crawl is like the last decent one. And then we've started to go downhill from there.
For me, I grew up watching these movies. Like, I had seen Alligator and Razorback and Slugs and all of this shit probably before I was 8 years old. So it's very near and dear to my heart. So when I think of like thinking back to the last one that was like good, probably Lake Placid, like that far, like that long ago. Like, I did see the Idris Elba lion one. It was fine. It was whatever. But I honestly can't say that there's one after Lake Placid where I'm like, this is cool. I like this.
Have you seen, it's got a couple different titles. And it's annoying because there's now another movie called Prey, but there's a Dutch film called Prey. I think the other title for it is Uncaged, but it's about a lion loose in the streets of Amsterdam.
Is that the Dick Moss?
That's a Dick Moss film. Whoa. Yeah, director of Amsterdam. That one is pretty fun. I mean, like, not really a quality film, but very enjoyable in the Dick Moss way.
No, I've been meaning to check it out. I think I probably first heard about it on your podcast when you guys covered the elevator one is.
There's two.
There's two of them by Dick Moss.
I've only seen the actual Dutch one. I've never seen the remake.
I think I've only seen the remake.
Whoa. But yeah, I'm sorry. Did I cut you off, Greg?
No, I don't remember. That's the last one. That's the most recent one I can remember seeing. Aside from Crawl, I also did see Crawl. I think with Crawl, what worked with that too is that it has the added element of like, it's not just gators, but also the fear of drowning. Like, a lot of that is her having to hold her breath and swim through shit with gators attacking. So there's like, there is still an element of real danger in it, even if the animals are fake, you know?
Yeah, I saw that in theaters and I think I was just like, fuck this. And then like, it was whatever. But people were losing their minds about it for whatever reason. And then Quentin Tarantino said it was his favorite movie of the year. And that was just kind of like the final straw for me, where I'm like, fuck this movie. Alligator is so much better.
That's fair. I mean, I guess I do want to say I think it was the last decent one. I wouldn't go out as far as to say it was the best movie of the year or anything.
Yeah, you're not Quentin Tarantino.
That's right.
You can't get away with takes like that. But I mean, like Greg said, there is a remake of Anaconda coming out this year. So, you know, maybe that's going to be the one that resurrects the genre, but I doubt it because I think it's like a comedy with Paul Rudd and Jack Black. So It's probably going to be more like Snakes on the Plane.
Yeah.
I think it's like the
I already hate it.
of a new Anaconda film. So I think like they're playing themselves. Yeah, I'm already very irritated too.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, they actually, one thing that is interesting that I just thought of because of Anaconda is that this is like a thriving genre in China. They are just pumping these movies out left and right. And what made me think of that is that there is a mainland Chinese remake of Anaconda that came out last year. I haven't watched any of these Chinese films yet to kind of see what the character and tone of these films are, but I am very interested to find out more about this like emergent Chinese animals attack genre.
Yeah, I think I came across that one day on Letterboxd, and I was like, what the hell? Like, because it was an Anaconda movie from last year, and I was like, I don't remember this. And yeah, it's like you click on it, and it's, you know, every poster for it is in Chinese. So
yeah, it's weird. I will say that the few horror movies I've seen from mainland China that have come out within like this century, I guess we'll say, have not been good at all. But I mean, maybe an Anaconda might be good. Who knows?
They have to hit every once in a while, right? Like there's bound to be one that's good.
Also cool that they're just maybe keeping the genre alive somewhere. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's a shame because I do love these movies. I think Slugs has probably been the number one movie I've mentioned on this show without actually talking about it. Fucking love it. But yeah, I mean, should we just let's talk about Yellow Fangs instead of all of these other well-known incredible animal attack films of yesteryear. So this one is loosely based on a true story that is known as the Sankebetsu brown bear incident, or the Rokusensawa bear attack, or the Tomamae brown bear incident.
Whoa, it's got like as many names as this movie does.
Yeah. So these bear attacks occurred from December 9th to December 15th, 1915 in a remote village in northern Hokkaido. In the month leading up to the attacks, the Ikeda family was visited by an Azo brown bear on 2 occasions, and I was reading up about this specific type of brown bear. They are slightly smaller than Kodiaks, which are like the largest subspecies, or the second largest species of bear. Like behind polar bears, you have Kodiaks, which are a subspecies of brown bear. So these Azo brown bears are fucking massive. But yeah, on 2 occasions, a brown bear visited this family, and they called in 2 traditional hunters known as Matagi from a neighboring village to help out. And on November 30th, the Matagi encountered the bear and fired at it. A snowstorm forced them to stop tracking the bear, but as they were tracking it, they saw some bloodstains in the snow and assumed that the bear had been wounded and wouldn't come back. But unfortunately, it did. On December 9th, it entered the home of the Ota family, where it killed one woman, Hasumi Mikio, and drug another woman, Abe Mayu, into the forest. A 30-man search party found only her head and parts of her legs in the forest the next day. And over the course of the next few days, a force of 60 armed men was amassed to deal with the bear, including expert hunter Yamamoto Heikichi, who named the bear Kesagake, or the diagonal slash from the shoulder. And that's due to this bear had a distinct white fur pattern from its back to its chest. This guy, Yamamoto, was the man who ultimately killed the bear, but not before it had killed 7 people. So pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I did look into this story a little bit too. And even that the guy who killed it, wasn't he like, he was a retired bear hunter who had sold his gun for alcohol. So he was like, they had to get this old drunk out of retirement to kill this bear. He was the Quint
before Quint.
Yeah. But even that, I'm like, that is such a fascinating aspect of the story. I'm shocked that didn't make it into this movie in some fashion.
Yeah. It is like, after I have that story fresh in my mind and rewatched the movie, because I didn't read up on it beforehand when I watched it the first time, it is like, wow, they are very like historically accurate to the true events of this in some ways. Like the whole, dragging a woman into the woods and then they have to leave because of a snowstorm and all that shit. But yes, this is the directorial debut of Sonny Chiba. And although he had initially wanted Kinji Fukasaku to direct, Fukasaku is the director of the Battles Without Honor and Humanity Quintology, and eventually Battle Royale. But he didn't want to direct it, so Sonny Chiba ended up doing it himself. And as noted in the opening credits, Yellow Fangs was intended as a sort of 20th anniversary celebration for Sonny Chiba's Japan Action Club. And that's a company that he founded as a way to like train action actors and stuntmen.
Wait, that's the Japanese text at the beginning? That's what that
is when it's like
saying.
Jack 20th or whatever it says in the subtitles. Yeah. It's dedicated to his little Japan Action Club that he started.
Well, and he like self-financed most of this movie, didn't he?
Yes, he put up 10 million yen of his own money to fund this thing, which is an important thing to note because for whatever reason, this movie was a commercial and critical failure. And I wasn't able to find many sources on this, but according to coolasscinema.com, because this movie failed so miserably, Sonny Chiba had to sell his mansion, his restaurant chain, and the Japan Action Club. I looked a little bit for sources on this. I couldn't really find anything other than that website, but he definitely did sell the Japan Action Club in 1991, so it seems plausible that it was because this movie bombed so hard.
That's such a bummer. You make an entire movie to celebrate you and your boys, you know,
Yeah.
and your 20 years of action, and then it results in the sale of that very club. That's a major bummer.
Yeah,
it fucking sucks. Are you guys big Sonny Chiba fans?
I'm not. I mean, I've not seen a ton of his stuff. I feel, I might have even learned that name from like some Tarantino movie, you know? So
Kill Bill?
Yeah, like all the, well, but I think he mentioned, don't they go to like a Sonny Chiba triple feature in, what's the one that he wrote, but didn't it? True Romance?
Yeah, they do. So that's where I first heard of him, same. And then I also saw Kill Bill where he makes an appearance. Aside from that, man, because I've watched my fair share of like, you know, of East Asian action films, and like I'm trying to remember if I've ever even seen one he's done. I probably have, just like, but it's not coming to mind right now. I haven't seen his big ones like Street Fighter, right? Like that's kind of the big one. But I'm sure I've seen some shitty one-off ninja film that he's in, because I feel like he's in a lot of those. And then I have seen Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, where he appears as like a Yakuza guy. He's like the uncle of like the Japanese rival racer. And all he does is he sits around in white suits and looks great. That's all he does in that film.
He's
great at it.
Drift King, aka DK's uncle in
That's right.
Tokyo Drift. But yeah, I don't think I can't remember ever sitting down to watch any of his movies, but I am half Asian. My dad grew up in another country that didn't really put out their own media because it's kind of they just didn't have a film industry when he was growing up. So anything that he did see on TV was probably coming from Japan at the time. So he would always watch like all of these old Japanese movies like Lone Wolf and Cub and shit like that. So I've seen Sonny Chiba in a bunch of movies through osmosis. I can't for sure say if I've ever actually sat down and watched one of his films.
But hey, I mean, for my money, he directed a pretty good movie. I'm interested in the rest of his work now. Yeah.
Interestingly, he does not appear as an actor in this film, which maybe could have helped it from flopping so hard.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too when I read like that this almost bankrupt him essentially. I was like, and he should have he didn't even have to play like the main guy.
There's a perfect part for him though. I mean,
he could have just been like one of the dudes, you know?
Yeah, exactly. There's an entire squad of bear hunters in this, and any one of them could have been him.
Yeah, the cast is mostly made up of Japan Action Club people. And the female lead for this film, Mika Muramatsu, actually won a Japanese Academy Award for Newcomer of the Year for her role as Yuki in this film. But according to IMDb, she was in one episode of a Japanese TV show, Hamadashi Keiji Jonetsu K, 6 years after this movie came out, and has not acted since then, which
incredible
kind of leads me to believe, you know, this bombed super fucking hard and ruined her career in some way.
Even after winning a Japanese Academy Award.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think acting-wise, the big name to call out in this one is the male lead playing the character Eiji is Hiroyuki Sanada. And this guy has just been appearing in American films left and right over the past decade or so. He was Scorpion in the most recent Mortal Kombat movie. He's in John Wick 4. He's been in some Marvel movies. He did a voice for the Minions movie. And he is the lead in the FX series Shogun, which I haven't watched, but people were losing their goddamn minds about it. Mm-hmm. Have either of you seen that?
No, I am very curious about it. I do want to watch it. I've seen bits of the older Shogun series, so I was like interested in following it up with this one. I just haven't gotten around to it. And since I learned about Hiroyuki Sanada like a couple years ago and kind of was like, oh yeah, I've actually seen a ton of shit this guy is in. Mm-hmm. I have just kind of want to go back and like see a lot of his work because I think I first kind of became aware of him in the Japanese Ring. He's in that.
Yeah.
And we covered that on my show, and I was just like, that guy is incredible. He looks amazing. He's got, I think, the greatest head of hair I've ever seen on a person. Mm-hmm. And then I looked through, I'm like, oh, actually, I've seen this guy in so many things, and I kind of just didn't notice. Like, he's in Avengers Endgame for like, I think 2 minutes. It's really strange. To learn, like, when you know who he is, you're like, it's really weird he was cast in such a thankless, useless role in this giant film.
It's kind of the same for one of the other guys who is also in Shogun. Tadanobu Asano is a very famous Japanese actor. He plays Kakihara in Ichi the Killer. He's just like this very well-known guy over in Japan. But then he was also Raiden in the new Mortal Kombat movie. And I think he also likewise has like some thankless role in like one of the Thor movies, like Thor Ragnarok or some shit.
Oh, so, he's like I think I know what you're talking about. He's one of the guys in Thor Squad. Yeah.
Sounds right.
Man, I'm pretty sure Shogun came out like literally like right after my daughter was born. And I know we threw on the first episode and both me and my wife at that time were like, I don't have enough energy to read a thing right now. Like,
yes,
I'm not going to make it through these subtitles. So, but we were watching a lot of stuff like exclusively between the hours of 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. Like everything just felt, like you were living in a twilight state. So I'm sure we'll get back to it at some point, but we just didn't have the willpower at the time to commit to Shogun.
Yeah, I will maybe get around to it someday. It sounds up my alley, but
from what we saw, honestly, pretty decent. Like the action in it was well done. So,
yeah, I have a hard time watching any TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
Tough. But that's about it as far as background on this one. So I guess we can just get into the plot of this bad boy. The film opens with a brief text that reads, "This film is based on a real event which took place in Hokkaido, December 1915. Before some sweet MIDI flute music kicks in, and we are treated with aerial shots of the mountains of Hokkaido before transitioning to a shot of a small snow-covered cabin." And I'm going to guess probably neither of you have seen this movie enough times to make the comparison, but right from the beginning, I was like, the music in this movie sounds exactly like the score from Bloodsport. Have you guys seen Bloodsport?
Bloodsport is a big blind spot for me for action films. I need to see it. I've been meaning to see it for many years. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
I've definitely seen Bloodsport.
Yeah.
I didn't put the music together, like that it was similar, but especially like the second time I watched this movie, I was like, man, the music's pretty good in this.
Yeah. Hiroyuki Sanada had something to do with the music in this as well. I'm not
like
exactly
the music director. Something is his credit, but it's incredible. I mean, it jumped up to me instantly in the first viewing. I mean, talking about wanting to own soundtracks on vinyl. Like, there's some incredible pieces of music in this.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what he did in the capacity of a music director, what exactly that means, but the guy that actually composed it did music for GMK, Monsters All Out Attack. Like, I think all of the Heisei era Gamera films.
Wow.
So he's a known quantity over in Japan. Like, people know him.
See, GMK has amazing music too. I didn't put it together as the same guy. That's awesome.
Gundam Wing, Endless Waltz. Yeah, guys got some good shit under his belt. Yeah, as the camera leads us through this snow-covered cabin, we see a horse, some chickens, and a young couple resting peacefully. Something spooks the horse, and it Kool-Aid Man's through a wall, which awakes the couple.
It was badass. And the guy's just like, the horse ran away?
Yeah, it's like
so
totally
confused.
normal thing. And as they are trying to figure out what scared the horse, out of nowhere, a massive bear appears, and with a powerful Tysonian right hook, this bear punches right through a wall and through the man's skull. He's fucking dead.
I love this part. I love that he just one-shots that dude, and you get like a pretty decent blood spray that comes out of his head.
Yeah.
Like, it looks good.
The woman falls on top of his corpse. The bear bites down on her skull and stands upright, lifting the woman completely off the ground. Cut to a rising sun. We get our title screen, Remains, Beautiful Heroes. Very strong opening, right?
Absolutely. One of the best openings of a movie I've seen in such a long time. Just instantly had me hooked. I think this does give a sort of wrong impression of what this movie ultimately is, though.
I agree.
Like, this isn't, because this is ostensibly how Grizzly starts too, right? Like, you have this super quick bear attack in the opening, and you're kind of like settling in, okay, I'm getting like a sort of animal slasher almost, where we're going to follow this bear around as it kind of kills these hapless victims, like, very violently. Which it does. There's still some violent kills in this, but we have to settle in for a lot of character drama between these bear attacks.
Yeah. Also, so the title that we had this under, and like one of them is Yellow Fangs. Does anyone say Yellow Fangs through the course of
Literally
the movie?
doesn't. I Control F'd the subtitle file just to make sure. The only time Yellow Fangs is ever said is on the title screen when it's like parentheses Yellow Fangs.
Which
I think it's because the bear's name in the movie is Red Spots, which is not a very great title for your movie about a killer bear.
I get not calling it Red Spots, but Yellow Fang is a weird alternate.
Yes.
I think I just Googled, like, after I first watched this movie, why is the movie Yellow Fangs called Yellow Fangs? And it literally just came back with, like, it's an allusion to the bear. I was like, well, okay, but I don't know if that's accurate.
Yeah, it's an odd title, because it's obviously, like, localized for people outside of Japan, but I doubt this ever played anywhere, like in any English-speaking country to any like extensive degree. Actually, the way that I had to get this was I had to order a Japanese DVD of it, and luckily someone had done like English fan subs of it, so it's never even had official English subtitles as far as I could tell.
Wow. Between getting the assignment for this and watching it, and then now I did try to like talk to several people about this film, and no one had ever heard of it. So I could see this is not something that's well known. I checked a local video rental place, did not have it there. Talked to a few other like horror fanatics in my life, and had never heard of this film. So
yeah, so I'm looking now. It has 233 views on Letterboxd, which I think actually is going to make it the second most obscure thing covered on this, which seems weird because it's like was theatrically released and is directed by and stars very famous people. But I think it just kind of got buried since no one in Japan liked it.
Yeah, it seems like it bombed at the time, and it's just like no one has ever given it the reappraisal. You know what I mean? Like it never really caught second legs at any point in time. So
Yeah, although I will say, if you are one of the 233 Yellow Fangs fans out there, there's always like posters and flyers for it up on Japanese auction sites because no one gives a fuck about this movie. So if you want a poster of this, you can get one for like $5.
It's a pretty decent poster. It's a cool poster too.
Yeah, so there is the one on that is on Letterboxd, which is like the giant bear. The Japanese one is much more just like the sun rising over a mountain. It still looks cool, but giant bear's cooler.
I feel like the one that I picked for it on my Plex was like I don't know, it's got like the two main characters and then it's like orange. Yeah. Like I thought that one looked pretty cool.
I've seen that one as well. Yeah. If I had the DVD handy, I would grab it and see what's on it. Yes. So after that bear attack, a man sounds the alarm by beating a bell, and a bunch of dudes come running to the house ready to fight this bear. But he's already gone, and he's taken the woman Ume with him. The men of the village venture out into the woods to track down the bear. They hear a strange crunching noise in the distance. It's the bear. He's chowing down on Ume's severed arm. One of the men takes a pot shot at the bear with his rifle, but this only pisses the bear off, and it begins charging him. The village men run away. The bear is gaining on them, but just before the bear can claim another victim, a team of Taisho period Power Rangers shows up with freeze-frame introductions to save the day.
Well, one of those villagers, too, I mean, he's dressed in like some kind of old military regalia. Yes. And he has a sword, which I know there's a precedent because of the uniform, but I mean, if you're going after a bear, you don't bring a sword with you. I mean, it's just, you got to have something more than that.
I totally agree. But yeah, did you guys like these little freeze frames on all of their faces?
Well, I feel like there is one too when he snatches that lady up in the cabin. Like there's a brief little freeze frame. And at very first, I thought that the movie had like frozen.
That's what I kept thinking when it happened. And even like deep into the movie, even after we've seen these like dozens of freeze frames, I'm still like, well, the movie's stuttering. Like this is a problem with my connection, my Plex, whatever. But no, I mean, ultimately, I like it, and it ends up adding like a nice style to this film, and it's deployed in a very funny way, I find. Yeah. And like, yeah, when they first show up in freeze, I mean, I don't know, it really sells, like you mentioned, that Power Ranger feel too, because like they're all entering in like hero poses and like landing like in a cool way. Like it feels like they just jumped out of the trees to like attack this bear. It's cool. It lends a good feeling to it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate them, but kind of like Greg was saying, there's several of them, but they're spaced out far enough that every time it happened, I forgot that was a thing that the movie does sometimes. So I don't know, like I didn't love them for that aspect. Like they more confused me than, you know.
I like it during action scenes. I think it's kind of a fun thing there, but when they're using them for flashbacks as well, like that feels like a little much. I don't know. There's like some inconsistency there.
It's a little odd, and I think having it front-loaded towards the beginning, this and like some other things that we will get to shortly, it is, like you were saying, Greg, it is kind of selling a different movie from what the middle hour of this is, because it's like, okay, this dude got his head punched by a bear. We have Power Rangers. We have freeze frame. We have weird MIDI flute music. It's gearing up to be like a super cheesy, gory bear fight movie.
Right. Like you think these guys are going to like hand-to-hand fight this bear, right? Yeah. Like it's going to get into some kind of insane martial arts battle.
Apparently I didn't find this out until after I had chose this one. There is a Sonny Chiba movie that's called like Karate Bear Fighter.
Oh my God.
He does fist fight bears.
Oh.
So yeah, that's something I will have to check out.
Yeah, track that down. I'm interested.
I think it's quite a bit more popular than this, so it might not be that hard to get a hold of. But yeah, so these 5 guys, they're all dressed the same. They've got rifles, bullet belts, animal pelts on, but importantly, they are all wearing different colored shirts and pants. There's a black ranger, a blue ranger, a gray ranger, and a light gray ranger, which kind of seemed lazy to me, but And also a Purple Ranger who is our beautiful hero, Eiji Hiroyuki Sanada. And he is beautiful and he is a hero. Like,
he has such a good voice too. For
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
Like that old school kind of like line delivery. It really works.
I honestly would. It's insane how much of a stud.
Yeah.
Like it's distracting to the movie sometimes. You're just like, man, this guy is just handsome. Like it was the same thing in the Japanese Ring, where it's like they're delivering exposition about the Ring video or like, you know, the backstory of all that. And I'm just like, I just can't focus on anything but how good he looks. It's really something.
It very much is like certain people, you just, as soon as he pops on screen, you're just like, man, this guy was born to be a star. Like,
Seriously.
he's got his total package. He rules. So, this Purple Ranger finds a piece of Ume's scalp draped across a tree branch. He brings it to the chief, the Black Ranger, and this elite force knows that this is the work of Red Spots, a bear that's ravaged the countryside for a year and claimed 12 victims from the Ranger's home village.
Well, and we find out this, like, his calling card is leaving the scalp and some hair around.
Yeah.
Like, he does that with multiple victims.
Well, I think they also say that he's killed 12, but he's eaten 5. So were the other 7 just like a warning to women everywhere of like, I'm out here? Yeah.
Well, it's that whole thing where it's like he kills a dead woman, or he kills a woman and leaves her corpse in a prominent place to let everyone else know. Like, hey, stop fucking with me.
Yeah. Or you could be next.
Yeah.
And it's been a couple months now since I watched Grizzly, but isn't that a factor for at least part of Grizzly? Like, aren't all the first victims women in that film? And they even call it out, like, oh, the bear has only killed women so far.
I think you might be right about that.
Yeah, definitely like the first 2 or 3 at least. I feel like he only starts messing with the hunters when they're like after him.
Right, when they're pursuing.
It's like he prefers to attack women.
Does that just come from the whole thing of like women attract bears with their period?
I was going to ask this later. Like, does the bear smell the menstruation? Because at a certain point, like, it started clicking to me. They're like, oh, the smell of a woman. And they call it red spots, which to me sort of evokes menstruation. I'm like,
I didn't even think about
are they
that
like
aspect.
possibly like, you know, using euphemisms that didn't directly get translated to English to imply that that's why the bear like eats women, is because it can like smell their menstruation?
That's honestly what I thought the name was alluding to when I watched the movie. So,
yeah. The Black Ranger tells the villagers like, hey, he does a Freddy and Freddy versus Jason. Let me handle this bitch. And the Rangers begin following Red Spot's tracks.
I love the cowardice of the villagers. They're just like, yeah, fine, we're useless. We're getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that guy with the sword was like, go for it. Like, I clearly see that I'm outmatched here.
So they lose the trail of the bear in a river. The Chief Black Ranger astutely points out that Red Spots is smarter than the average bear. The bear tracks indicate that Red Spots was walking backwards to throw the hunters off his trail.
Now we've got this woman-killing, moonwalking bear out in the woods. I would be scared.
Yeah. Fucking terrifying. The tracks lead the hunters to a steep hill, and they activate slow motion mode and slide down this thing in style.
This is one of the peaks of this movie. When that music kicks in and they all jump off that ledge and you see them sliding down, it's... I ended up only watching this like maybe like 1.5 times. But both times, like that just got really pumped to see. That was incredible.
Yeah, so... this movie kind of falls into like this weird sub genre that I think about a lot that I haven't really come up with a great name for, but tentatively I just call it some style, no substance, which is like, and I think Rumpelstiltskin kind of would fall into the same category where there's just like these flashes of like someone is really going for something, but it ultimately is in service to nothing. And it's not employed consistently enough to where you're like, oh, this movie's all style, because this movie isn't all style. It's just they do very weird, stylish things at random points of like freeze frame, slow motion, Does that make any sense?
No, I think I get it. Although I will say, yeah, the action stuff is, I would agree that it's kind of stylized to almost no end for that. But the middle chunk that is the dramatic part of it, I do think that there is something really fascinating going on with that.
I agree. This
in
does
relation
have
to the
substance.
bear attack stuff. They do tie in the idea that the bear only eats women to the dramatic plot as well. Like, that is like a weird metaphorical factor to this. And like the rule about women not being allowed in the mountains, like not being able to kind of pursue the thing that's killing them and being shut out of like the bear hunting process. I'm like, I guess it's kind of like, it is maybe saying something about like the societal structure of Japan at this time. It's interesting. But I would agree the stylization has nothing to do with any of that. Doesn't add to that at all.
Yeah. I mean, the movie does have a weird, like, a lot of it is, fairly standard until it isn't. Like when they jump to a freeze frame or slow-mo, or there are two sections of like some crazy cool looking tracking shots in this movie. And it's like you hit it and it's like, damn, look at this like awesome creative thing they did. And then you kind of, after that, get 15 to 20 minutes of just like,
people talking.
Yeah, like here's a shot here. Now let's do a shot of the person they're talking to. Like it's just kind of all fairly standard, but there are these weird little, jumps to some kind of creativity. So,
yeah. So, I mean, this isn't the perfect example because like you said, Greg, I wouldn't say that this is a no substance film, but I think about things like Rumpelstiltskin where there's just like a badass shootout and like an awesome semi-truck chase, or a movie called Wheels of Terror, which I love and would love to cover on this show at some point, which is just like a made-for-TV movie that's basically like Speed, but if the bus slows down, your child gets abducted by a pedophile.
Whoa.
But it has all of these like crazy stunts and slow motion shit in it, and it's like, for what purpose? Like this is this lame ass, like made for TV, Lifetime, suburban white mom fear mongering movie. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe someone can think on it and come up with a better name than Some Style, No Substance, but
we did that. Man, I can't remember the name of it. It was like a Gary Busey movie that we did on 5 Day
Rage.
The Rage, yeah. And
yeah,
there
that's
is like,
one too.
I think that might have been made for TV, or at least like super low budget. And there are two stunts in that felt genuinely dangerous to everyone involved in it.
I know exactly which ones you're talking about.
It's like
I watched that one too.
A Dodge Ram van like that plows through like
a set of bleachers. Yeah. And you can literally see the people running off of them as it comes through it. I mean, if you missed that by a foot, you would have killed someone. I mean, it's gnarly.
Hell yeah. But yeah, they are, these hunters, they're chasing this devil bear all through the mountains of Hokkaido, but a snowstorm causes them to reverse course and slide down another hill.
They slide down so many of these hills that at a certain point I was like, just stop hunting the bear. Like you guys are, you guys are having fun, man. Like just do this all day.
Yeah. So a lot of people might not know this, but parts of Hokkaido get like, it's one of the places on the earth that gets the most snowfall of anywhere. So it's like, man, we see all of these beautiful vistas of the snowy mountains. I mean, you see them sliding down many a hill and mountain, but it's like, man, it's beautiful, but that's probably a miserable place to live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get like a month out of the year where it's not, just completely covered in permafrost or something.
Like, even within this movie, it was surprising when they show any greenery. Oh, shit, okay. Like, they do have grass here that's not covered in snow.
Well, that just makes it easier for the bear to abduct your wife and or daughter. So, 6 in one, half dozen in the other. Quite serendipitously, the hunters spot a bear fucking with a tree. Don't know what that was, but they have the hunters have the high ground and they set up a perimeter around the bear. 2 of the hunters approach the bear from behind. They fire their rifles into the air, begin to yell in an effort to drive the bear towards the other 3 hunters. And it's working. But just as Eiji is about to take his shot at the bear, a dog comes out of nowhere to challenge the bear's authority, and the bear tosses the pup aside like a rag doll and stands on its hind legs, welcoming a worthy opponent. But just then, a new hunter jumps into the fray with another freeze frame introduction, and this mysterious hunter pumps a few rounds into the bear and kills it. But wait, this hunter, it's not even a man. It's a woman hunter. Well, now I've seen everything. And not only that, but her name is Yuki, and she and AG know each other, and Yuki picks up her bloodied dog and runs off into the sunset.
She runs over that dog, and she's like, "You're hurt?" And it's like,
She's
yeah, you sent it in to fight a bear.
I think she says, "What happened to you?" or something like that.
Yeah, what did you expect?
We all saw the footage. It looked like very real footage of a bear wrestling with a real dog. Like,
yeah.
Speaking of doing dangerous things for that is absolutely, I cannot believe that they shot that. Like, I mean, it has to be, this is a trained bear, right? And is it a case of like, oh, these are animals that fuck around and just play or whatever, and this is what it looks like? Or did they legitimately like throw a dog at a live bear?
Well, not to stereotype, because plenty of American films and films from other countries have had plenty of animal cruelty that we're discussing earlier. But if you know a little film called Milo and Otis, you'll know that even at this time, Japanese films didn't really have any qualms about animal cruelty. I think that has since changed, but it wouldn't surprise me to know that they just threw a dog at an untrained bear.
I mean, we were talking about that lady won a Japanese Oscar. This dog should have been up for some kind of like, seriously. This is not the only scene where I was like, man, they fucked that dog up.
Yeah. So I almost agree with you. He's a great dog. Is he a great dog actor? I'm not sure, because there is a scene towards the end of the movie where he's like, sniffs out like a ripped piece of kimono that has like a scalp piece on it or some shit. And he's just looking cute as fuck, just smiling, cheesing at the camera in a very serious moment. So I don't know if he's the best actor, but would I like to have this dog be my friend? Yes, absolutely.
Well, it sounded to me like they also had to dub his barking over. Like it sounded like a stock dog bark. Mm-hmm. So he is not even good enough to get his own barks in the film.
Yeah, he just kept flubbing his lines.
Yeah.
They had no choice.
Also, even if he wasn't the best actor, like you could have just put him up in the stunts category. You didn't have to nominate him across the board.
You don't want to split the vote between the dog and the 5 hunters sliding down the hill, so there's more of a political decision than anything.
Hey, thanks to Tom Cruise, we were talking about earlier, and getting that stunt category created at the Oscars, maybe they can give this dog some sort of Lifetime Achievement Award for bear wrestling.
Oh, is that actually happening? I hadn't heard that yet.
I think so, yeah.
I think so. I think they are going to be actually implementing like a stunts category at the Oscars.
Man, I wonder if we're going to see let me wait for my fucking neighbor's obnoxious Mustang without a catalytic converter to pass by.
He ripped it off so it'd make that sound.
Yeah. Yeah, I should mention that I have my window open because for the past 3 days, the blower on my furnace has just been running constantly, and I haven't had the chance to call an HVAC person to take a look at it. So if there are sound quality issues on this episode, listener, I apologize. There's not really anything I can do about it. So could be noisy, or possibly they don't hear this at all, and I'm just outing myself for no reason. Who knows? Yeah, so with the Tom Cruise stunt shit, I mean, hopefully that'll bring in a new era of every movie's going to be like The Rage starring Gary Busey.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go back to super dangerous stunt work, please.
Yes. So she runs off in the sunset with her dog. And so at this point, we get some on-screen text that says spring 1 year earlier. I have to point out, again, this is a fan sub. And when I first watched it, the text was incorrect and said 1 year later, which meant I was confused as fuck an hour from now. So I corrected that before sending it to you guys.
Wow. Thank you for that, because I was already confused even with the corrected text, because I guess you don't expect a flashback to last, 55 minutes or
the
so?
The rest of the movie, almost?
Yeah, pretty much. And so there were several times within this where it would cut and I'd be like, okay, are we now back in the present to like after she jumps out and kills the other bear? But no, we remain in this 1 year previous and then even go back further within this flashback sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, we only go back for such a long time.
So it's spring a year earlier. We see AG trekking through the mountains. He doesn't have his cool goatee, and Zordon has yet to give him his purple outfit. But he stumbles upon a woman who's just sort of sitting in the remote wilderness by herself. And the woman asks AG if he recognizes her. Holy shit, it's Yuki, a girl from his village who left to work as a servant for the village headman, which I guess is just like local chief,
the mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just some real rich guy who's, what I took it to be.
So she went to go work for the village headman of a different nearby village, but now she's on her way back home. Her boss's son kept asking if he could touch her, so she pushed him away, kicked him, and he hit his head on the furnace. This guy's probably dead, but that's a problem for a different day.
I get that he's like an attempted rapist, but the way that they laugh when they're like, he hit his head really hard on the furnace, both of them are just like, ha 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 ha. And it's like, God damn.
I think he says something like, oh, you haven't changed or some shit like that.
It is kind of remarkable that she didn't just walk, apparently was able to just leave after that, after almost killing the son of some sort of local leader.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's kind of insane that she was not, like, arrested for this or something. I mean, I know, obviously, she's not in the wrong for doing it. Like, I'm just kind of thinking in this time period, like, would you just release her after that? No matter if it's justified or not. Or was this guy that bad? Was the headman's son that much of a known dipshit? They're like, good.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, maybe she literally kicked him and then just walked out of the room and kept walking all the way back.
That's what I was thinking, is she just like booked it like, oh shit, I just fucking killed this dude. Or it could be like Greg was saying, like it could be a Roadhouse situation where everyone just turns a blind eye and they're like, yeah, he deserved it. Eiji and Yuki walk by some explosions. Copper mining has come to their small corner of Hokkaido. Yuki asks Eiji what happened to all their childhood friends. Most of them left, he says, except the ones that stayed to take over their family businesses.
I kind of wish they had tied this in, like I was saying, I feel like a lot of these movies are ecological based, and I wish there had been something of like the copper mining is ruining the bear's natural habitat, so now he's, seeking prey elsewhere.
That's the implication for sure, I think. But they never actually like confirm that or have a piece of dialogue saying something to that effect. But they kind of just leave that for me, it was like, oh, that's kind of obviously what the movie is laying down, because they focus on the mining a few times, like enough to get that across.
So there is a point to showing this mine stuff, which we will get to much later in the film. It does have a meaning. Unfortunately, like, it's not like a copper poisoned bear, because that would be super cool. They could have called him like Orange Fangs, like his teeth turned to copper or something.
Oh yeah.
Would have been sick, dude.
But yeah, there's a reason for showing all this stuff, but we don't really know until way, way, way later. So Yuki gets to her house. Her dad's fucking pissed. He tells her to go back and apologize, but Yuki doesn't want to go back. So her dad slaps her with a shoe and he disowns her and tells her to get out of the house. Outside, Eiji is playing with a puppy, awkwardly listening to this whole conversation, and he invites Yuki to his house for a meal. Eiji's mom expositions at Yuki. She explains, her dad's fallen on hard times ever since he was injured and had to give up bear hunting, but, he'll get over their fight soon enough. And so, as Eiji and Yuki are sitting around the soup pot shooting the shit, Yuki's dog Meru bursts through the wall covered in blood. And I don't know, this is like 25 minutes in, and we've already had like 3 animals go through walls.
I was going to say, that's a major motif in this movie is animals breaking through walls. It's great. I never get tired of it.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it every time it happened, so.
Fucking sweet. But yeah, so the dog is covered in blood, so Eiji and Yuki race to her house, and when they get there, it's a goddamn bloodbath. Yuki's dad and 11-year-old brother have been killed by a bear, but her mother is nowhere to be found. Eiji, Yuki, and Meru head into the woods after the bear. Yuki falls into a river and starts shooting blindly into the woods. And, I don't know, I'm probably going to sound like a psychopath when I say this, but I love kids dying in horror movies. Just fucking love it.
I think someone recently did like a whole book of like child death on film.
I cannot remember her name, but
yeah,
I know she does a podcast called Unsung Horrors.
Yeah.
And she is one of my only mutuals to have seen this movie on Letterboxd. Right. So I have to imagine this specifically is why.
Well, I will say one of the films I watched this last weekend of the three I mentioned had a rather remarkable moment of child death. You can probably guess which one if you remember the three I said. Yes. So that was fresh in my mind too. That's just like, oh wow, both of these films I watched recently had some wild child killing.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah. I guess the last Mission Impossible is pulling out all the stops.
Yeah, insane choice to have Ethan Hunt just like, you know, point blank.
But yeah, I know like a whole thing in horror movies is people are like, there's a website dedicated to it. Does the dog die? Or whatever it's called, because that's such a common trope. I get people have a hard time watching that. Like, I have 4 cats. I love animals. But it happens so often that there's a whole website dedicated to it. So I think ostensibly the purpose of seeing a dog die in a movie is like, oh, no one's safe. But that's not true if it happens in every movie.
Right.
So what I like about, you know, this movie or The Blob 1988 or The Being, kid killings are so rare that it actually does serve that purpose of like, oh shit, like this bear killed an 11-year-old. No one's safe. This movie doesn't really like go off the rails in that way, but it could have.
Yeah, it's not like a violent scene. It's more you just come into the room and he's kind of slumped over, you know?
Yeah. I do think though this sequence does end up being like probably the most upsetting in film. And it's like, you know, the actual bear tech scenes are more fun than anything else because mostly it's a guy in a bear suit, like
pretty shitty bear suit,
and,
if I may say so.
A delightfully shitty bear suit. Yeah. A great like bear puppet head maybe, or maybe it's just a mask of the suit or something you see some close-ups of sometimes. But I do feel like this is probably the scene that got this actress this Academy Award because when she is like sitting on the ground in the forest, like wailing, like it is a genuinely really upsetting reaction to all this. And I think she does sell like the terror of like when she's running through the house, even looking for her mother. And it's like, this is where we get some more cool stylization of like her POV shots that she's like opening every door and tearing the place apart. Like, yeah, this is, I will say this, the middle hour is very strangely paced and placed within this movie, but I still found it really compelling in moments like this.
Yeah, no, it rules. It rules. It's good. So that evening, Eiji returns with the remains of Yuki's mother. A hair clip, couple pieces of scalp are all that's left. Eiji and the other bear hunters make a plan to meet tomorrow morning and head out in pursuit of the bear. Yuki begs the hunters to go along with them, but the chief Black Ranger tells her it's impossible. It's against the rules of the bear hunters, which he conveniently lists out for us. 1. While in the mountains, keep away from women. 2. Let no hunters know about any villager's death. 3. Let no villager know what happens to any hunter. That's the bear hunter's code, and it must be strictly observed.
Surely a couple of those guys were like, we should let her in. Like, I mean, I gotta imagine after, 5 months in the wilderness, you'd probably be thinking like, Can we get anyone else out here?
Yeah, I mean, probably. They were just, Eiji and Yuki were just talking about how, like, all the young people have left this village, so. And so this, like, I don't know if these specific rules are real. I wasn't really able to find, like, anything specific about this other than, like, so in Japan, there's, like, this traditional culture called the Matagi culture that is what these bear hunters are. And unfortunately, both the English and Japanese Wikipedia articles don't really shed any light on specifics, but they both say that like there's a reverence for nature, bears in particular, and they sort of live their lives like based on some stringent code of morality. So I do think that this definitely has some basis in reality. Whether or not like they have codified this to this point where they have 1, 2, 3 rules, I can't say, but
I thought from what you were just going to say, they try to live their lives as bears out woods. Like that's their goal, is to literally just become a bear.
No, but foreshadowing for the quiz at the end of this, but but go ahead. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine. I mean, that's just like I find this stuff fascinating. I'm not trying to say that like that Sony Chiba made like a secretly like feminist killer bear film or anything.
Yeah.
But I did just find this really interesting of like telling this woman, and by extension all the women in the village, like you can't do anything in response to this thing that's exclusively targeting you. Like this is I mean, men are dying too, but they make a big deal out of it going after women in particular. And to kind of have this like faction of guys saying like, no, actually this is something for us to deal with, and not this person who has a very personal reason to go after the bear and eventually like the skills to go after the bear. They're still like, you can't be out here. You're barred from taking part in this. Like, I just found that a kind of a very surprising direction for this Killer Bear movie to go. Yeah. And just like I don't know, it makes the movie way more fascinating and kind of like does add substance where it didn't need it. It could just be cool Power Ranger guys fighting a bear. And it would be an excellent film, and I would rate it very highly. But it has this extra layer to it that makes it even more unique and stand out more, I think. If it was just a guys fighting a bear, would still love it. This makes it even more special to me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and it is one of those things, it's like, yeah, it's sexist, but at the same time, it's like, if we are implying that bears are attracted to women's menstruation, it's like, well, I can see historically why these rules were put in place.
Right. But I think it comes off to me as different than that, as just like no women are allowed. Like you're not going to, only men are tough enough to survive these conditions and fight bears.
Yeah.
That's what I took from those rules.
I mean, I think if there was if this movie was set in America in the same time period, it would be the same thing of just like, well, this is like work that is too difficult or too, like tough for a woman of that time period to do, which is not true. But like, given the time, I would be like, well, that's how people thought then, it's just kind of like,
yeah. They didn't think women could slide down snowy mountains. Like that's just something they can't process.
And but Yuki does. We see it in this movie. She slides with the best of them.
Yeah, much like America, I will point out that this was before women's suffrage in Japan, so didn't have the right to vote, which you could argue makes you a non-citizen at that point if you have no say in what's going on in your country. So just throwing that out there to add some historical context. So the next morning, stepping back, like, it is sad, but I also like kind of thought it was pretty fucking funny when he just hands her like a napkin with pieces of scalp in it. And is like, here's your mom.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Pretty fucked up. But the next morning, the 5 hunters set out in their new colorful garb, only to find that Yuki has disobeyed the chief's orders and set off on her own to find the bear. The chief orders his men to get her off the mountain, and it's Eiji that catches up to her first.
She looks so far away when they spot her and they catch up in like I mean, she's like on a whole different mountain than them and they, like slide and jump, I guess, from one to the other.
Hey, AG's a beautiful hero. You can't question it. But he catches up to her first. He tells her that women aren't allowed on the mountain, and if she doesn't leave, she'll be banished. She reveals that she's cut her hair short, but AG calls her an idiot. You can't fool a bear with a haircut. The bear still knows that she smells like a woman, and hasn't she heard the rumor about red spots? And this was definitely the point where I'm like, is this about women having their period? Maybe people that are a bit more clever picked up on it immediately, but this was like really driving it home for me. So she says that she's covered herself with bear grease to hide the smell.
I was very interested in this aspect of the movie. So, like, how do they make it? How much do you get at a time?
Right.
Yeah.
Did she have it on hand already? Like, I mean, her father was a bear hunter, so maybe he did have stores of bear grease laying around.
Yeah, I'm not super certain what bear grease is. I did in my very brief research about this Matagi culture. One of the things that I saw was that they have pouches for bear bile. So maybe that's what bear grease is, or maybe it's just like rendered bear fat.
That's what I was I mean, a bear's got to have a good amount of fat on it. So I guess if you just cook that down, you'll get bear grease out of it.
Yeah, and also that just made me think, any bear experts out there, like, this is during the winter. Shouldn't bears be hibernating? Like, wouldn't that be an indication that there's something wrong with it?
I think I was seeing, like, in the true story, that's what people were highlighting, that it was a very odd time for a bear to be active. And there was like a rumor about the real life incident was that something awoke this bear from hibernation, like a lack of food or something, and that drove
explosions from a nearby copper mine.
It could be something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't think about that until just now. Yeah, she's slathered in bear grease. She tells AG that if she
just
wants,
like I am for this recording.
I didn't want to call you out.
Hey,
but
I'm trying to get into character, man. I mean,
so she tells AG that if he wants an obedient stay-at-home wife, he should marry the chief's daughter, Mitsu. AG slaps Yuki. Meru comes to her defense. AG throws the dog aside. Yuki comes at AG with a spear, and AG's palm gets cut in the tussle, and Yuki starts shrilly, if that's a word, crying for an inordinate amount of time before running off into the woods.
My note was literally just, why is she shrieking like this?
Yes, so I believe I watched this for the first time by myself while my significant other was in the kitchen doing something. And at a certain point, she was like, why the fuck is she making that noise? It's quite piercing.
Mm-hmm.
We get a montage of the Rangers traversing the harsh mountains of Hokkaido in search of the bear. 10 days have passed, and there's been no sign of the bear or Yuki. Back at the chief's house, AG and the chief have lunch, and the chief hints that, maybe AG should marry his daughter. But this awkward conversation is interrupted by a group of men that come thundering into town on horseback. It's an assemblyman and some officials. They came to inspect the mine, but what they found instead was a poacher in the woods. And this poacher, who is obviously Yuki, shot a peasant and kicked the assemblyman off his horse, and he wants her arrested.
Are pheasants super rare birds over, people? I grew up in Missouri and people hunt pheasant all the time.
I think you're just totally America-pilled.
I guess.
You can't even conceive of a society where not everyone has a gun and is killing animals constantly.
Well, but I didn't know if it was just is that a very rare bird over in Japan? I mean, they're plentiful in certain parts of America.
I have no specific knowledge about the conservation status of pheasants in Japan.
I guess I thought maybe he was just mad of somebody killed this bird on like my land. Like you can't,
right.
you can't do that here,
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that this was before there was any sort of like legality of like a designated legal season for an animal. I think he's probably just pissed that she punked him and kicked him off his horse.
I feel it was that more than anything else. That just like an added thing of, also you killed this bird in front of it. It's a technicality they can get her on in addition to him being punked. But I do love that. Yes, we see that happen, this is like the second flashback within this extended flashback. We also had the moment earlier where they have the bullies picking on Meru and they save him from them, which is it's how AG and Yuki met, right? Is saving this dog. But this means 2 times though, where we flash back within this extended flashback.
Yes. This one's okay. The dog one is okay. I think some of the later ones are just like, we don't need to see that. Like, we don't need to flash back to that. But yeah, so this assemblyman, he wants to find whoever this poacher is that kicked him off his horse. Luckily, the whole village has Yuki's back, and they refuse to say anything. But this causes the assemblyman and his goons to start pulling people out of their houses. He tells the villagers to stop wasting their time hunting bears and come work for him at the copper mine. The times they are a-changing, and the hunters lament the imminent loss of their very way of life.
Why would you work at the mine? Like, there are no snowy hills to slide down. It looks miserable.
Yeah, this guy fucking sucks.
You get to blow up some deer just incidentally, though, for a quick free meal.
Yes. So that's one of the things I wanted to highlight, is that AG, he walks into the blast zone of the copper mine, and he sees a couple of workers carrying the carcass of an animal that was killed in the blast. He looks at them with disgust and says, "Bear hunters won't fade away." So, what is something that Japanese viewers would know, but is not apparent to us as Americans at all, is that this animal is I think it's called a Japanese Serow, Serow, and this is an animal that is very important to this Matagi culture. So I think a parallel to draw to it is sort of like him seeing these fuckers from the copper mine like just wantonly kill this animal is akin to like that famous image of American frontier days of like a pile of bison skulls of just like white colonists wantonly fucking with the indigenous people's way of life and just like being so flippant and laughing about it. So that's where, partially where this whole mine thing comes in.
I think I kind of took a little bit of it too. It seems like an explosion killed the deer and then these guys just haul it off. So it's like to the bear hunter, it's like, well, you didn't even earn that. Like you didn't, at least what we do is respectable. Like you're just picking up a dead animal off the side of the hill.
Right. Like they're killing to protect people and to save the lives of the villagers. While these guys are just like, oh shit, this thing we accidentally fucking exploded. We can just eat that, as a side benefit. That's fascinating. I do remember like part of the like real life story I read, was that I guess like the son of one of the people killed in these bear attacks went on to become a bear hunter himself. And like, I guess is thought to have killed like 180 bears in his lifetime.
Hell yeah.
But I got to imagine, like, I know bears, they probably don't like populate that quickly. And so now I'm curious about like the population of bears in Japan and how much damage did that one guy do to the bear population? And like, did he actually need to execute 180 bears?
Yeah. So interestingly, I did look this up. The Azo brown bear is classified as least concern as their conservation status. Unfortunately, this Japanese Serow, this little deer goat looking thing, the Matagi people can't hunt it anymore because it is like endangered. So
Got it. So Sero's off limits, but shoot as many bears as you care to.
I mean, again, parallels to American history, where at one point the American bison was on the brink of extinction, but has now I think it's doing okay. Hopefully. Cut to Meru racing up to the top of a mountain to let out a howl. Eiji hears this and finds Meru. What's that, Meru? Yuki's trapped in the well? Well, not quite. She actually fell off a cliff somehow, and Eiji takes Yuki to a cabin to nurse her back to health. He tells Yuki about the assemblyman that's looking for her. She bursts into tears, and later that night, as Eiji and Yuki sleep, Eiji is woken by a thunderstorm. As he gets up to investigate, he's suddenly cast aside by a rampaging bear that makes a beeline to Yuki's jugular. And just as the bear crushes the life out of the woman, Eiji wakes up. It was all a dream, and Yuki is nowhere to be found.
And we got a dream inside of a flashback. I don't know what's happening anymore.
It got me too. I forgot that this was all during a flashback, so I was like, oh shit, they just killed Yuki. Like, it totally worked on me until I woke up.
Some phantasm revision shit. Like I said, the first time I watched this, I thought all of this was happening a year later. So, yeah, it definitely got me too.
You're like, yeah, cool. All right. Now she's dead.
Yeah.
Like,
stop listening to her cry loudly.
I also, too, want to say that when he is going down on that rope to get her at the bottom of the cliff, like, that was kind of an insane looking stunt because he, like, slips.
Yeah.
Drops a pretty good distance. It looked real to me. It looked like they had a stuntman kind of just like fall off a cliff basically while holding on for, I'm sure there's some wires, there's some harness or something, but
I would imagine that Hiroyuki Sanada actually did that because he was part of the Japan Action Club. And I didn't read too much into it, but he would refer to Sonny Chiba as like a mentor of sorts. Whoa. So I'm going to say he probably did that.
As if he couldn't get more attractive.
Yeah.
He's also out here doing his own stunts. Damn.
I feel like sometimes too, like those are the ones you leave in the movie, right? Where it's like, oh, you were just supposed to crawl down, but you ended up slipping like 5 feet on the rope. And
yeah.
Like that looks better than anything we could have dreamed up.
Isn't that the thing? Like use the take where I got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The next morning, the hunters are back in town for supplies. There's a festival going on. The villagers are having a great time marching through the streets, but you just know that red spots will not stand for this. And so as the chief and Eiji stroll through the village streets, the chief breaks the news that his daughter got married to that guy over there, which I thought was a very funny line because he does say like, yeah, she married that guy over there. They don't give him a name. And it I don't know if it was supposed to be funny, but it is like if you were doing a comedic scene, it's like that's how you would do it.
I mean, Eiji wasn't ever interested to begin with, so I feel like, you know.
Yeah, not only that, but the chief is like, hey, this guy's kind of a shithead, so you kind of have to teach him how to be like an adult. Good stuff. In the middle of all this, we cut to a shop owner. He can see the silhouette of his daughter or wife. Wasn't sure.
It's wife, right? Because they talk about how this guy just got married.
Yeah, you're right.
I thought it was wife. Yeah.
Yeah, he's some guy that they come to, and there's another freeze frame flashback that occurs here where he's like, oh yeah, this young guy came in to buy like food, and they're like, they had to keep asking all the clues, like, and he had like a picture of a bear on his gun stock, and they had all this too, and there was a dog. So we know instantly it's Yuki, but they have to go through all the steps to explain to us that it's her. And then we also see the freeze frame flashbacks. Mm-hmm.
And so like in the present day timeline of the main flashback, they are like laying it on very thick, like you said. They even say like, oh, this guy was doing sign language, and one of the rangers like nudges Eiji, and it's like, oh, so they didn't know she had a woman's voice. That must be Yuki. And yet, like you said, we still have to flash back, like, in case you didn't get it, it was Yuki.
Chris, you should make a timeline chart like people do for Primer, where it's like, this is...
Yeah. I'm sure I'll get many subscribers to my YouTube channel of like Yellow Fangs explained.
Yeah.
I do like, though, giving this shop owner just a little bit of time to kind of like give him some detail, because it does make his kind of tragedy all that just a bit more impactful too. I'm just like, he's newly married. He's, his wife's like, I want to go see the festival. So he's like, great, see you later. And then has to turn to the guys and be like, I'm so happy to be married to this woman. They're like, we're all very happy for you. So it just like, it's just nice to give him a little something.
This shop owner is to Yellow Fangs what Dennis Haysbert is to Heat. Just a little flavor for a tertiary character that doesn't really matter. But, so this shop owner, he sees the silhouette of his wife through an interior door in his shop. She's moving kind of oddly, but that's because Red Spots is behind the door working her like a goddamn puppet.
It's exactly what I thought when I was watching this.
Yeah, it's pretty good because an arterial blood spray splatters across the wall and Red Spots reveals himself to the shop owner before putting his wife in his mouth and rampaging through the village.
Yeah, this rocks. You get Bear POV as he continues to like tear through doors and walls. And then just like the villagers panicking, running away, the Power Rangers springing into action to like run into the chaos. This is brilliant.
Yeah, it's it really reminded me, I think maybe neither of you have seen this, but if not, it's one to add for Year of the Western, a movie called White Buffalo starring Charles Bronson.
I've heard of White Buffalo. I have held it in my hands at the rental store several times. So it's going to happen.
Yeah. So I will say it is extremely racist at points.
Oh, well.
But you do have this mechanical white buffalo created by one Carlo Rambaldi rampaging through a village. Just getting vibes of that. It's good shit.
So, Greg, you have like White Buffalo in one hand and Weekend at Bernie's in the other. You're like, no, it feels like I need to spend another weekend at Weekend at Bernie's.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I did rent that from there very recent, in the past couple of months. Yeah. So that exact situation may have happened.
Whoa. Yeah, I heard on a podcast a while ago that someone was actually writing a book called Lifetime at Bernie's. That was all about Weekend at Bernie's.
That's like a whole separate podcast I don't even know about.
Yeah, I was only able to find one episode of it, so I don't...
Yeah.
It's weird, though. It seems like they have a fan base, but they're just like...
Yeah, that's a really big show. That's Aaron Armadillo's podcast.
Yeah. I'll see if I can get those guys on here. I think it would be a really...
Oh, man, that would be...
be a boon to our download numbers, but I think they mostly cover stuff like Back to the Future and Ghostbusters and shit like that.
Yeah, no, it'd be hard to find a dead format that crosses over with their particular tastes.
So yeah, it's chaos in the streets of this little village. As you said, this bear is just like, it's running through walls, through the streets, through kiosks, pandemonium. And so the men from the village and the hunters go into the woods to try and find and rescue this shop owner's wife. But again, they're too late. They don't find anything but some kimono shreds and scalp clumps.
This bear eats so quickly, dude. I mean, it's like a boa constrictor. Like he just swallows the body and then moves on.
It's great. I love this part here. They say that like they find the clothes and stuff spread about. And they have that line where they say, like, oh, he rolls around to play when he's full. I think it's something they say. And when they said that, it was the first time I ever kind of like, was like, oh, like there is an innocence to this bear too. He's just doing what bears do, right? Like he's not like actually menacing these people for the fun of it or because he has a taste for women, I guess. But even that is just like, I don't know, for whatever reason they taste better. He's just being a bear. And so when they mentioned like, oh yeah, he was playing here, I got a pang of sadness for Red Spots. Of like, he is just living his life, He doesn't like have any particular hatred for people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They established that he killed 7 women for sport. So, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah. I mean, but we all know the famous Chris Rock bit of like, the red spots didn't go crazy. The red spots went red spots. So I'm glad to finally know what he was referencing. So yeah, after the scalp clumps, we get more on-screen text that says re-encounter 1 year later. So we flash forward back to the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm. It's almost long enough that you forget, like, first watch, I was like, oh yeah, there's like a different timeline to this film. Like, you spend so long in the 1 year prior.
It is like, I think it's 55 minutes. Because it's around, like, I did manage to pick up, I had to pause it around the time of the first, when it first said 1 year previous, and I noticed it was like 20 minutes in, and then so I was like, okay, out of curiosity, how long has it been? It is nearly an entire hour of flashback.
Yeah, so for me, the first time I watched it, since the first text said like 1 year later, I was like, oh, like she was a bear hunter and then she went to go work for some headman in a village and she kind of forgot about bear hunting, but then she was re-traumatized and hunted bears again. And we've been tracking this bear for 2 years. I was like, this is really fucking confusing. But that's just, I was at the mercy of a fan sub, so none of that happened. Yeah, so the hunters return to the village from the beginning where Ume was killed. Like, when it flashes forward in time, it is literally like hours after where we left off.
Mm-hmm.
So that is another like kind of confusing thing. This is like right after Yuki killed a bear that was not actually red spots. These 5 hunters go back into the original village from the first 10 minutes of the movie. And the village leader is kind of like, you said you were going to kill the bear. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You said we can handle this. And then so the guy that's in like military garb with the sword, he shows the hunters Red Spots has already come back to the village. He dug up what little remained of Ume, the woman killed at the very beginning. Now her grave is just 3 fingers. And the people in the village are evacuating the women and children to one central location, which kind of just sounds like a Golden Corral, all-you-can-eat buffet for Red Spots.
They talk about that, like, oh, is it, like, should they just remain evacuated? And I was just like, the bear's just going to follow them wherever they go, right? Wouldn't it just, if it's after women, you've just made it so that he's going to go after that. Like, well, I kind of didn't...
And they're traveling now. Like, there's less coverage. I mean,
yes.
This seems like the worst plan to implement at this time.
And we've established in this time period in this movie that women are incompetent and can't do anything. So it's like, this seems like a terrible fucking plan.
Mm-hmm.
The chief explains that if Red Spots realizes that there are no women left in the village, it'll just go to the next village over and eat the women there. And they can't let that happen. And thus...
Or just follow this...
the trail of women.
This long trail of people.
This heavily scented trail of women and children. So, since they don't want that to happen, they enact Operation Lone Wolf. These hunters have to split up and go it alone for some reason. Only God knows who the bear will choose to attack, but this is their last chance to put an end to this bear debacle. The hunters are scared shitless. The White Ranger pukes from the nerves. But, you know, it's like his grandfather always told him. You have to face off one-on-one with a bear to become a full-fledged man, and he'll be good goddamned if he's going to the grave as some half-baked beta male.
Mm-hmm.
This is also the second puking out of fear in this film, because it opens with that guy, when they've discovered the bear attack in the beginning, a guy runs out of the house vomiting. So it's a little bookend for this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start and end with vomit.
It's like poetry, it rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
Red Spots is the key to all of this because he's a funnier character than we've had. So, cue the city pop music mixed with like guitar wailing, and we've got a classic preparing for the final stand montage. Eiji finds himself a nice cabin to hole up in. He decorates the interior with pieces of bloodied garments of slain women. He's calling Red Spots out. He hears a rustling at the door, but it's not Red Spots, it's Yuki. She strips down to her makeshift underwear. The scent of a real woman will be more enticing to the bear than some tattered clothing. Hoo-ah.
It's a good thing she has like a winter bikini ready to go for just such an occasion.
Yeah, and I will say they've done their best throughout this movie of making her an Uggo, but this is where you see the title of the movie, Beautiful Heroes, plural. Two beautiful heroes.
Yeah, of course. We knew Eiji was beautiful the entire time. But this is like a last minute twist that she's the second beautiful hero.
So this plan works. Red Spots shows up almost immediately.
It's so quick. Like it's like he was waiting for her to disrobe to come attack.
Yeah. And Red Spots begins to probe the outside of the cabin. He's crafty, and Eiji and Yuki can't get a clear shot. Meru's going crazy from all the bear smell. Yuki leans up against a wall, and just then, Red Spots punches through the wall and grabs her. Eiji stabs the bear arm with a spear.
He grabs her. It's like a Friday the 13th kind of like through the window. And yeah.
I was just going to say this entire thing is a Friday the 13th sentence. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Friday the 13th, broke, grizzly, woke, yellow fangs, bespoke.
Whoa.
Yeah. Eiji and Yuki look for the bear, but they can't find him. Fortunately for them, he reveals himself. He crashes through the fucking ceiling of the cabin for a surprise attack. The three warriors, the beautiful heroes and Meru, battle it out against the bear all throughout the cabin. Eiji and Yuki shoot the bear a few times. Red Spots is knocking down pillars, threatening to bring down the very cabin to the ground. Red Spots corners Eiji and Yuki, and just as it seems that all hope is lost, they ram a spear straight into his heart. Red Spots flails all around the cabin before doing a super shredder and bringing down the house on himself, Eiji, Yuki, and Meru. Eiji sifts through the rubble of the cabin, finds an unconscious Yuki. He rouses her back to lucidity, and the two hold each other as they look at the smoldering corpse of Red Spots. All this death and destruction is just too arousing, and they kiss. Credits. Well, yellow fangs.
He does, the first thing he says to her as she wakes up is, damn, he was big. Like, you see the fucking size of that thing? I cannot emphasize enough how amazingly bad the bear suit is during this entire encounter. Like,
it's fucking bullshit.
It doesn't even look like they hired like a big guy to wear it. Like, it looks like a skinny dude is wearing some shitty loose bear suit. But it might have just been like,
it was probably just the tallest person they could find, regardless of the other dimensions.
Yeah, so it's a shame because I was thinking about, okay, what else was around this time? The year before this, in Japan, we get Godzilla versus Biollante, which is like, I don't know, to me it's up there like as like the highest standard of suitmation. Like it's amazing. Here, not so much.
It did have me kind of wanting, they would never do suitmation nowadays, at least not like they used to, but it did make me want a good like bear kaiju film, you know, like get a really good bear suit, put it on a guy, have it destroy some models. It would be fantastic.
Well, there was a part at this ending, like you were saying, it's so obviously just a man in a bear suit that I wrote down in my notes, like, I bet the real bear is going to be pissed off when he shows up and sees this guy in a bear suit impersonating him.
This guy wigging in a bear suit.
Yeah.
When he like walks into like the premiere in his like little tux and everything, he's expecting this, and he has to leave in shame covering his face because, yeah, this pathetic suit performance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Because it seems like something that would have come out 20 years earlier. Like I said, it's been a while since I've seen Grizzly, but I imagine if there is a suit in there, it's comparable to this movie from 1990.
You get like fake bear arms in it, from what I remember, but it looks pretty decent. Like it's pretty good, and you have it do things like slap a horse's head off.
Yeah.
So it like sells
Brutal.
the power of it, even if it's like fake.
Well, I think it's weird with this movie because like that first scene where he smacks that guy in the head, it is just kind of like a hand coming down and hitting someone. And it's like, that's kind of how you shoot that stuff. You know, it's like very quick cuts, close up kind of stuff. But so much of the bear stuff in this is like a very far away shot in a very bright environment. Mm-hmm. So it's clear that it's a man in a bear suit. And yeah, like, when I watch Grizzly, there is a part where, like, when he goes after that kid, his mom comes out to break it up. And you can clearly see, like, there are two big bear arms that grab that lady, but it's just the arms. And then they immediately cut to just a real bear's face growling. And it's like, oh, that's how you, like, those shots don't even need to match up, like, because there should obviously be a woman in front of it when it's the actual bear. So it's like those two shots don't even match, but it works better than this, where it's just like a wide of a man in a bear costume, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's, man. The last thing I want to say for Sonny Chiba, who fucking basically ruined his life with this movie, is that they should have put more money into it, but they should have put more money into it.
Well, it is crazy because I feel like that opening works way better than the ending.
It does, yeah.
Because he does better cutting and more focused camera work at that point in the film. Whereas so it's like he kind of figured it out at some point, but I don't know.
Even if you do have a shot of like the guy in the bear suit when it picks up the woman, but like the fact that it's holding a woman in its mouth, I guess, is distracting enough from the quality of the bear suit, you know, because that is so insane. Like the image of her like dangling from his jaws, that you kind of don't care that the bear looks shitty at that point. You're just kind of blown away by the audacity of what's happening.
Yeah, no, totally. I definitely agree with that because, like we were talking about way earlier, like it is kind of like a super cool and shocking opening. So it's like, okay, well, you can see how the sausage is made, but it doesn't matter. I think an hour of period piece character trauma puts you into a different mindset that by the time you get to the end of it, you're like, wait, there's like this super shitty bear costume and like this serious movie.
Yeah, because if it is a Grizzly style like movie where just every few minutes you have another bear attack and it's the shitty suit throughout all of that, you get used to it and it's like you come to expect like, okay, we're gonna have another shitty bear, and that's just part of the fun of the movie. But this is trying to sell you as like, this is the weird culmination of this like relationship between these two people, like, and it's this test of manhood, I guess, fighting a bear, right, with your, you know, and you've had so much time outside of the bear attacks that it's like, it's really jarring. Go back to shitty bear costume mode. At the same time, it's still pretty delightful on some level. Yeah. Like, you know, it's fun. It is fun to see the awful bear suit too.
Yeah.
So thoughts, gentlemen, on Sonny Chiba's Yellow Fangs from 1990?
It's a weird one. Like, I like it for a lot of different reasons. But it does have a whole host of like really obvious problems, and it's interesting. I see why I guess Sonny Chiba didn't direct very much, even though I think there is some cool like decisions made in this. Like I really dig it anytime it is bear hunters out in the woods, insane saxophone / flute music with wailing guitars and sliding down mountains. All that stuff is fantastic. Yeah. And I even do like a lot of the character drama stuff as well. The mixture is not great. It does not strike the right balance between those things. And I think there's room here for a really interesting story about this woman, like, challenging this weird patriarchal society and, like, getting vengeance for her family when people are, trying to keep her in place and telling her to stay home or whatever. There's also just a cool movie in here about a bunch of badasses who go out and fight a demon bear. Yep. And there probably is a way to put this all together into this weird, serious, but also kind of cool action drama / animal attack horror movie. Mm-hmm. This does not live up to all of that, but I still think it's a really fascinating movie and a really fun watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with pretty much everything Greg said. It's kind of like it has a lot of ideas that never really come together at the end of the movie. It doesn't know if it wants to be a period drama or if it wants to be a fun bear attack movie. And it's kind of like by never deciding, it doesn't do either thing particularly well. I don't know. It is baffling to me because it's like that opening, I think, is so good.
Yeah.
And then they spend so long not doing any kind of substantial bear stuff. And it's like, it's like by the time you get around to that again, it is so clearly a man in a bear costume that it kind of just never lives up to the expectations it sets. But all the same, I mean, I do love an animal attack movie. Like, if the whole rest of the movie past the opening had been terrible, which I don't think it is, there would still be a part of me where it's like, well, that guy got smacked in the head by the bear and that was rewarding. Like, I love that part of the movie. So I still would have like appreciated seeing it. And it's not like the movie is never bad. It's just kind of middling in a way, it just kind of treads water is what it feels like. And yeah, it's like, I do think they figured out at some point in editing the film how to do like a proper bear kind of attack thing. But maybe they had already cut the rest of the movie. I do feel like this movie should not have wrecked Sonny Chiba's career.
Totally.
Like it's not that bad. You know what I mean? It's just kind of, it's like a good first effort, I think, for a director. And then
better than I could do by far.
Yeah, it's like you would have loved to have seen him get, a bigger budget and more of everything to really see a vision out. So yeah, that's like the ultimate bummer to me is that he only did this in one other movie because this one went so poorly. I feel like he's really got to hate like The Room, right? Where it's, I mean, he made a movie better than that and it like 100x'd its budget or something. So,
has a devoted fan base and like,
yeah. So you really got to feel bad for him for that kind of thing. But I don't know, man. It's like perfectly watchable. It's just can't pick a lane,
Yeah. I mean, I would say like, while I don't love this movie, I would put it towards the upper echelon of like animal attack movies. Like, it's not an alligator or a razorback. Like, it's not up to that level, but it is better than a lot of the ones I've seen. Like, in that it attempts to like be something. It has aspirations. It's like you were saying, Greg, there are these things about like, it has a weirdly feminist message to it.
Well, and I don't think it's well handled at the end, by the end of the film. The fact that it attempts this at all, I'm just like, that's kind of commendable in one way. And I do think that like Yuki, again, the wailing aside during that one scene in particular, but I do think that like the acting from her and the chemistry with AG is great. Like, so for that stuff carries that section and makes it very notable compared to a lot of animal attack films. It's like, I love Grizzly. I think Grizzly is great, but it's like no one is handing out any acting awards for Christopher George in that film, or anybody. I guess actually, no, there is some good performances in it too, but it's still, they're like actors who know they're in an exploitation film and are intentionally kind of hamming it up and having a good time. This does feel like these actors are all taking this very seriously. And that that adds something to it too. That is value added.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot when we talk about these sort of exploitation-esque films of like, this movie's good because it doesn't try to be anything other than what it is, but I always have a problem with that because it's like, I don't like maybe aspire to something, you know, like don't just think like, oh, we're a bear attack movie, so this can't be good in any aspect. We just have to resign ourselves to being a shitty exploitation movie. Yellow Fangs doesn't do that. It has like those weird stylistic cinematic flourishes of like freeze frames and slow motion. So I respect it for that. I mean, does it stick the landing at all times? No, probably not, but it has some memorable sequences. You know, there's like weird feminist undertones and like this weird thing of like, you know, encroaching modernity on traditional ways of life. And like, maybe that's a good thing because there's more equity for women, but also that's a bad thing because we have copper mines like ruining the fucking environment. Like,
well, we got to think of the bear hunter economy, you know.
Yeah,
you got to take that in consideration. It can't fade away.
It won't fade away, according to Hiroyuki Sanada. So I think this is like a very good exemplar of what could be with these animal attack movies. Like, I don't think if you want to watch this, which is going to be hard because it's unavailable everywhere, I would not compare this to Slugs or anything like that. This is more like, right. It's more like a movie like Daimajin or Matango or Brotherhood of the Wolf, where like on the surface, you're like, this is an exploitation movie about mushroom people. But then you actually watch it and you're like, are they trying to say something about the context in which this film was created and the society in which it was created? So yeah, I know you've covered that on your show.
We haven't covered Matango yet. I've talked about it.
Oh, yes. It was talked about briefly during your mushroom month.
Yes, absolutely. But it is, that is a movie. You're right. It's like, okay, you're going to see some cheap makeup effects of mushroom people killing it. And then you leave it being like, is civilization driving everybody insane? Like, that's like the point you come away with at the end of that film. And you do not expect to be that thoughtful by the end of it. But that's exactly, it's the exact kind of feeling watching this film. Where like, I strapped in for a cheesy, bloody, violent killer bear movie, and you walk away from it being like, why are these men the ones in charge of like solving this thing targeting women? It's bizarre.
I think it's fucking good. Like, I had a good time watching it. It's like we've all said, like, it has flaws, but it's a good watch at least once.
Oh, yeah. It should be more available. I really do hope that this gets some sort of wider Blu-ray boutique release. I mean, it feels primed for that. Just as Sonny Chiba would have all too. I can't believe that there wasn't more attention drawn to it when he died. Of like, hey, this is this international star that gets, has all this acclaim and has been, highlighted by Quentin Tarantino. Why isn't this film being pushed as like, hey, this is one of his only 2 directorial efforts?
Starring someone who has since gotten such international acclaim. Another,
international star. Like, this would sell, if this is released by Arrow or Vinegar Syndrome, it's gonna push units,
Yeah.
I'm sure Hiroyuki Sanada would love to do an interview about it,
Oh, shit, yeah. I mean, on balance, like, the last time you were on here, Greg, we covered a movie that was directed by someone who is an actor. I would say Sonny Chiba, his effort was more successful than the 2
Jack
Jakes.
Nicholson. Yeah. I would agree, absolutely.
Yeah, so, I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, it sounds like we all enjoyed it to some degree.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, it's definitely for like a first director film, I think it's better than a lot of them out there, it's like, it is so crazy to me that this like financially bankrupt him. It's not at that level,
I mean, if I had known that going into this, like before watching it, I would have been shocked to watch this and find out like, oh, this is why he didn't get to direct anything. Because I think he has 2 directing credits after this, but they're both like co-direction, as if he had to be babysat because this movie was so bad he couldn't be trusted.
I'm curious if in Japan, because when I was looking into the real story, I was seeing there are other film like versions of this story of the bear incident, and there's a lot of books written about it and novels and things like that. Could it just be that there was an oversaturation of material about these bear attacks? They were just like, we've seen enough.
Yeah,
we don't need another film going over these events. And maybe it was a thing of like, this is so historically inaccurate, like adding this like love story angle on top of the bear attacks that did not happen in real life. You know, maybe it was seen as a like, this is kind of just like a bullshit revisionist thing about a real event where people died. I have no idea. I'm just speculating. But
hey, if James Cameron can get away with Titanic, Sonny Chiba can get away with Yellow Fangs. Yeah, that is an interesting point. I wonder, so one of the things you talked about on your show, Greg, when you covered Grizzly is like that movie was very popular in Japan, and I get that. All of the things I do looking through Japanese auctions for shit, you can tell how differently films are marketed to a Japanese audience than they are to an American audience. One of the things I posted in the 5DR Discord a couple months back is like the VHS cover for Black Roses. On the cover of that, they very prominently show a puppet that's in the movie for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
That's how they market things to the audience there because, you know, Tokusatsu, Godzilla, they fucking love practical effects. So I wonder if that was maybe part of the problem is like they were expecting a Grizzly, but what they got is like this weird quasi-Shakespearean period piece that actually has very little special effects, and the special effects that exist suck shit.
I guess, but if they're selling Black Roses on, hey, this is a puppet feature and it's in the movie for 2 minutes, it's like, well, they're doing the exact same thing with, I don't know if that was a hit over there, I guess. So
I don't think it was a hit anywhere.
Yeah, it could have bombed. Yeah.
Also, this is 1990, right? Like, this is around the time where I think Twin Peaks Mania has taken over Japan, which was massive there. Maybe that's it. They're just at home watching Twin Peaks instead of going to see Yellow Fangs.
They've got that fucking legendary Laserdisc Twin Peaks box set that is the coveted item for many a collector. I don't know. Sonny Chiba, maybe better than David Lynch. I don't know.
Maybe this is the start of like the great Yellow Fangs reappraisal, you know, that will sweep the nation.
Absolutely.
So
it deserves it.
I could be so lucky to, I mean, that's sort of the whole point of this show. If I had watched this beforehand and was like, oh, this is terrible, I wouldn't have followed through with having 2 other people watch it. I do try to pick things that I think are not only interesting, but are actually good for the most part. You know, I do have some special guests that I bring on ever so often to be like, hey, yeah, this movie sucks shit, but that's up your alley. You like shitty movies, so we're going to watch it together. But you two aren't those guys. You like good movies. You like fun movies. And so I'm glad that you are at least able to get something out of this in that regard, because I don't think that this should be like relegated to the cinematic waste bin. It's not that bad. It's pretty good.
I mean, I'm already trying to do my part. Like I mentioned, I was like talking to people here, like, have you ever heard of Yellow Fangs? And then when they said no, I did describe it to them. They were like, I want to see that immediately. And so I'm going to share it with them. I'm going to start spreading the word here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'll make sure to tell Dan and Bones to check this one out.
Fucking Criterion Dan. Well, I think we've said about enough about Yellow Fangs, but, you know, thank you guys for going through this with me.
No problem.
But before we get out of here, I do have a game for you guys that I like to call Grizzly Men. And that's Grizzly spelled Grisly. And so this game, I'm going to read you guys some quotes, and you guys buzz in with your name and you tell me if these are quotes from the Grizzly Man, Timothy Treadwell, or if they are quotes from a well-known serial killer.
Oh, shit.
Makes sense, right?
Totally.
It does. just thinking about that movie, any of these quotes could be either thing. So,
So, first quote in Grizzly Men. I should have gone to college and gone into real estate and got myself an aquarium. That's what I should have done.
Kron. I'm going to say that was the Grizzly Man.
That was a serial killer.
Damn it.
That was Jeffrey Dahmer.
Damn.
And I should also point out, you do not need to point out the specific serial killer.
That's what tripped me up. So I was like, yeah.
Second quote. I've always wished I was gay. It would have been a lot easier. Greg.
That's the Grizzly Man.
That is Timothy Treadwell. 1-0 in favor of Greg. Third quote. I am the Lord's humble servant. I am Allah's disciple.
Greg. I think that's a serial killer.
I'm sorry, that is Timothy Treadwell.
God damn. I was like, I asked me a Zodiac letter or something, right?
I mean, there could be some overlap here where they just happen to both say the exact same quote, so.
Fourth quote. You sabotaged my ass, society.
Kron. A serial killer?
That is Eileen Wuornos, immortalized in Monster by Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Oh, can I tell just a real quick story?
Yes.
When I was growing up in high school, Bones worked at a video rental store that we would go hang out at all the time. And it was around the time when Monster was coming out on DVD. So it would play like these preview kind of things in the store all the time. And there was the funniest shot, like out of context, of Charlize Theron as Eileen Wuornos just running into the woods. But it would play like every 10 minutes. And for some reason, we thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah, we actually watched that one like within the last 6 months. And so like I will randomly just be like, oh shit, yeah, man. Which I don't think she actually says in the movie, but it's like it captures the spirit of that performance.
Yeah, it's got her vibe all over it. So.
Real toothy.
Mm-hmm.
I have a quick story related to this game too. I have a strange connection to Grizzly Man in that the woman who now owns the footage that Werner Herzog saw and said nobody should ever see. I worked in her exact job. She had my job right before me. So she worked for this post-production company out here in LA. And then when she left, she was fired because she was not good at this job. I was the person who got hired next in that exact position. And I didn't know this for a long time. And then someone just happened to mention around the office, oh yeah, that woman who had job before you, her like boyfriend or something got killed by a bear and was in a movie. I immediately clicked of like, oh, holy shit, she owns the Grizzly Man footage. Like, she's the one that owns that.
Damn. Fuck.
Yeah, so I used to sit at her desk all the time. For like 6 years, I sat at her desk.
That's crazy.
Could you feel the power through the seat?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen that movie since it was like all the rage back in the early 2000s or whenever it was. Need to watch it. Fucking love Werner Herzog's documentary films.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Seriously. That was the first movie I saw, just out of any of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Into the Abyss. That's a great one. I went through a period of being obsessed with that. I'm not sure if I've seen any of his narrative films other than his Nosferatu.
Which is great too. That one's awesome. Yeah. Aguirre Wrath of God is amazing.
Who did Battle Lieutenant Portugal New Orleans?
That's him.
Okay.
That's Herzog. Yeah.
I mean, that's a good one for like a narrative. I mean, I just watched the original pretty recently, but I was like, man, I really need to go back and check out the Portugal. Because I remember liking it in high school.
I've never seen it.
Portugal Tokyo soon too.
Hell yeah.
Tokyo's coming out. Yeah.
Wasn't Miike doing that?
He is.
Fuck yeah. Sounds awesome. Yeah, I haven't seen Port of Call New Orleans. My only experience with that is like the YouTube compilations of like Nicolas Cage is shitty at acting and he's like, there's a fucking iguana.
It's pretty good. I'd say check it out.
I will have to eventually. Let's see. So I think it's 1-0, Greg.
It's 1-1. I got Eileen Wuornos.
Okay.
That's right.
We'll go with that. 1-1. This is fifth quote. I did not get my SpaghettiOs. I got spaghetti.
Greg. I'm going to go Grizzly Man.
Sorry. That's a serial killer. Those were serial killer Thomas Grasso's last word before being executed at the Oklahoma State Penitentiary in 1995. I guess for his final meal, he asks for spaghetti. He got SpaghettiOs.
Wow.
Well, I guess they're lucky they killed him because he probably would have had a score to settle.
Yeah. Half-star Yelp review for the Oklahoma State Penitentiary. 1-1, all tied up. Next quote.
1-2, right? 2-1 Kron. Yeah.
Well, I didn't get a point for that. I think we're just 1-1. You got to answer correctly.
If you get it right, you get a point.
That's right.
Wrong answers are a wash.
Mm-hmm.
Next quote. I'm very, very troubled. It's very emotional.
Kron. Got to be the Grizzly Man.
That is the Grizzly Man. 2-1 Kron. Next one. If you ever heard that tape, there is just no possible way that you'd not begin crying and trembling. I doubt you could listen to more than a full 60 seconds of it. Greg.
Okay, well, I'm realizing, though, I was going to say Grizzly Man, but I was thinking that's Werner Herzog saying. But
and is he a serial killer? Who knows?
Could be.
I'm changing my answer to serial killer for that one.
That's correct. Roy Norris, who, along with Lawrence Bittaker, kidnapped and killed 5 women. I think it's 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
Took a dark turn with that one, but the next quote is, I'm sure gay people have problems too.
Kron?
Mm-hmm.
An earlier one in a similar vein. I think that was Grizzly Man. I'm going to go serial killer on this one.
Nope. That's Grizzly Man. 2-2.
I thought you would have tried to trick us with 2 similar quotes.
Next quote. I'm hidden down below. No one knows where I am. Even I don't know where I am.
Kron.
Serial killer?
God damn.
Timothy Treadwell.
God, that's such a serial killer quote, dude. That's fucked up.
Still tied up, 2-2. Next quote. I am sorry for only 2 things. These 2 things are, I am sorry that I have mistreated some few animals in my lifetime, and I am sorry that I am unable to murder the whole damned human race.
Greg. God damn it. I gotta say serial killer because that's just what it feels like.
Yes, that's a serial killer. Carl Panzram, suspected of killing over 100 people.
But no animals?
No.
All right.
He just mistreated a few of them, and for that, he's sorry. The fact that you stumbled on that one, though, Greg, is very telling of this game. Okay, so it's 3-2. This is the last question.
Whoa.
How dare they? How dare they challenge me? How dare they smear me with their campaigns? How dare they?
Kron.
I
mean, I gotta just answer to try to tie it up. I'm gonna say the Grizzly Man.
That's correct. This one ends in a tie.
That one I can picture him saying. I remember that part specifically, I think, from the movie.
Luckily, you guys have already won games on previous episodes, so you've already been sent out a prize, so it's fine for this to end in a tie.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
That was Grizzly Men, Treadwell or serial killer.
It could have gone either way on any of those quotes.
So yeah, that was Yellow Fangs. Thank you guys for coming on and breathing life into this dead format with me. Tell the fine folks out there where they can find you and anything you've got in the works.
Sure, yeah. I host the weekly podcast Massacre along with my good friend Murph, previous guest on this podcast. We do themed months covering horror films. Right now we're recording for June. It's Dr. June. It's all Mad Doctor films. And we have some really fun stuff after that coming up. Aside from that, I am on Letterboxd at, what the hell is it? G Anderson 19. And I've been streaming some Twitch games recently, hired_goon17. So you can find me any of those places. yeah, come chat horror with me. Come watch me play some Doom Dark Ages. That's what I've been into lately. So find me there.
I will say, last episode of 5DR, we put out some good pitches for weekly podcast massacre.
Oh, man.
Categories.
Okay. Well,
haven't heard anything.
I'm going to load up Rumpelstiltskin and then give the episode a listen.
Oh, you don't even know the gold we were spitting on that episode.
Yeah, we had a lot of good categories in the
oh boy
in the tank. Real quick question is: did Murph think up Dr. June just to get Dr. Jekyll's sister Hyde onto the podcast?
I thought so, but no. Actually, we came up with Dr. June. We met up in person for the first time a couple weeks ago. I was in Portland. And we were in Movie Madness, and we actually recorded it. I don't remember when he's going to put it into an episode, but you do hear us coming up with it on the spot where he pitches it. But we're standing in the horror section at Movie Madness and like going over theme ideas. And I think it's just I forget what we're looking. Oh, I'm looking at the movie. We already recorded it, but I'm looking at the movie Scalpel, and I'm like, oh, I would love to do Mad Doctor. And he's like, well, Dr. June, let's do it.
Wow.
But I thought that's exactly where he was heading too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's mentioned it only 33 times.
He's mentioned it a lot. So. Yes.
Yeah. So 2 things. Congratulations on the kayfabe, because you did do an episode live from a Spirit Halloween way back.
That's right.
And I was like, are they in person? Are they not? So you got me. 2, last time when I had you and Murph on the show, I successfully called that you would cover Identity. I'm calling my shot for Dr. Giggles in the month of June. We'll see if it happens.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Watch that kid play Dr. Mario on his Nintendo. I'm Kron Howard. I have a podcast called 5 Day Rentals. As of the time of this record, we are on just a little bit of a hiatus. Bones canonically said that he quit the show. That's not true. He's going to be back. So I have no clue when this comes out what we'll be covering, but we'll be covering something. So come check us out.
So this will be out on July 14th, which oddly enough, I think is the day that Con Air takes place.
Whoa.
Maybe should have tied that in somehow.
Maybe there's a Con Air quotes versus serial killers that... I mean, that's what the plane's full of.
Right,
so.
yeah.
Real quick.
Is it Cyrus the Virus or Ted Bundy?
Nicolas Cage or serial killer. Put the bunny back in the box.
Oh, that's Con Air.
Oh, shit.
I know that one. I know that movie better than Grizzly Man, so...
Well, fuck yeah. So, on behalf of Greg and Kron, I'm Chris. This has been another episode of Dead Formats. If you have any questions about the show, or if you have a dead format topic that you'd like to hear me cover, or if you have any suggestions for potential guests, please reach out. You can email me at deadformatspod@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on Instagram at deadformatspod. Thanks for listening.